Hello, Mr. Sherman with you again. This video lecture will walk you through the basics of creating a podcast track within GarageBand. All of the Apple computers in our school district come standard with this tool. GarageBand is actually a tool in which one can be very creative. Today's lesson, however, will equip you with the base knowledge that you will need to create a podcast. A follow-up lesson will show you how to publish and share your creation. First, you'll need to locate and open GarageBand on your computer. The program will be available by clicking the Finder button, followed by the Applications button, and you will notice the GarageBand symbol here, which is a guitar. Double-click this symbol, and GarageBand will open. Once GarageBand opens, you will need to click New Project, followed by Podcast. At this point, you'll be prompted with a new project text box. You'll need to name your project and select Create. This is your podcast creation work area. Remember, this is a beginner's lesson, so I will be covering the basics of laying down your audio. You can choose to lay down either a male or a female voice based on your gender. To record your voice, you will simply click the red button and begin reading the script that you have created. And when you've finished, you will click the Go to the Beginning button. You'll notice both of these buttons in our screencast will be highlighted by red rings. I'll now demonstrate laying down a sample podcast track. I'm going to select male voice, followed by the record button, and then I will read my script. Hello, and welcome to Mr. Sherman's Tech Radio. Today I'm discussing how to use GarageBand to create a podcast to be used in your multimedia lessons. Now I will click Go to the Beginning button, and that will take us back to the beginning of our podcast. If I click the play button, it will allow me to preview the podcast, which I will do. Hello, and welcome to Mr. Sherman's Tech Radio. Today I'm discussing how to use GarageBand to create a podcast to be used in your multimedia lessons. If you're satisfied with that audio track, which I am, we can then move on to the saving and exporting portion of this lesson. I'm happy with this, so I'm going to choose File, Save As. I'm going to name my podcast, and the initial name pops up in your text box, as you can see, Sample Podcast here. I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with the location in my documents, so I'm going to click Save. And what this is doing is this is saving a copy of the GarageBand file to your documents. To make your file ready to go to our publisher, the place where we're going to host our podcast, we need to export this file into something that's compatible with Podbean. So to do that, we are going to click the Share drop-down menu, and we are going to choose Export to Disk. Now you'll notice that there are some standard settings that come up as MP3 encoder and a spoken podcast. These are perfectly normal and fine for Podbean, so we're going to leave those the way they are and just click Export. Again, it'll ask you if you want to name your MP3 file. I'm going to keep the same name to keep things organized. Sample Podcast. I'm going to be sending it to my documents, and click Save. And just like that, we have a podcast track recorded and saved in the proper format to publish to Podbean. In the next installment of this video lesson, I will be showing you how to publish your podcast file to Podbean.